Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sparring with George Stephanopoulos yesterday after Bessent called out the host's shutdown hypocrisy. Listen here.
George, the best way to do it, and look, you were involved in a lot of these in the 90s, and you basically called the Republicans terrorists, and you said that it is not the responsible party that keeps the government closed. 5 Democrats can cross the aisle and reopen the government. That's the best way to do it, George.
I can disagree with you about the history there, but we don't need a history lesson right now.
George,
let's talk about what's happening right now.
If you want, I've got all your quotes here. I've got all your quotes here, George.
I'm sure you do.
But
let's talk about the situation right now.
Read your book. So you got one purchase on Amazon this week, and that's very much what you said.
It's a mischaracterization of history, but I do want to talk about right now is the best way to end the shutdown right now, to end the filibuster.
Charles Payne, host of Making Money on Fox Business. I pray that my clips never come back to haunt me from 20 years ago. So this is what happened in 2000. Here's the interview where Stephanopoulos said, our strategy was very simple. We couldn't buckle. And we had to say that they were blackmailing the country to get their way in order to get their tax cut. They were willing to shut down the government, throw the country into default for the first time in its history, and cut Medicare, Social Security, education, and the environment just so they could get their way. And we were trying to say that they were basically terrorists, and it worked. That was 1995, my first day on the job, first day of the first government shutdown.
Wow.
Back then.
Oh, so yeah, baptism by fire.
That's great.
Yeah, in October of 95.
You took the heat straight on because it worked.
She's
then.
one of the terrorists.
I was always worried about you. No, he didn't even say thank you for buying the book on Amazon. It probably was first. But here's the thing. It is despicable when this becomes so politicized that you don't care what happens to the American public as long as you win in the court of public opinion. And of course, when you have 99% of the media on your side, the chances of that happening are always pretty high. But thank goodness we have some folks cross the aisle, and we'll be able to move on with this. And of course, the notion of this heading into Thanksgiving and then the holiday season was just absolutely brutal.
Untenable.
Untenable. Yeah.
I mean, we look at the airports right now. You appreciate when the country's working.
Yeah.
Right, and it's working the way it should. How much better it is. Quick comment.
Well, and one of the reasons you see the market up on this news too is because the government is a major source of cash, right? So the Treasury account just keeps building and building. The money they would spend by now, it's like $1 trillion. So that will start to cascade into the economy.
Okay, so the big word from last week was affordability, and I really wanted to have you on so you could define affordability for us. But here we go. The White House is floating this idea. Bill Pulte is saying, thanks to President Trump, we can indeed work on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer. How does that work in dollars? Here you go. 30-year fixed mortgage right now. You're paying $2,038 a month, principal and interest on a $400,000 home. At the bottom, under 50 years, you'd save a couple $100 a month at $1,822 principal and interest. That is proposed. Do you like this idea?
I do not like this idea. And again, it depends on how much the house costs and what, but if you just took a 4% interest rate, for a 30-year, it would be $2,300. For a 50-year, it would be $1,900. So you're saving almost $500 a month in terms of affordability. But by the time you finish paying this bad boy off, the 30-year, you pay $359,000 versus a 50-year, almost $700,000, right?
Oh,
so it's just a gargantuan difference just to make people feel better, and that's not the way to do this, right? There's so many other ways. I feel so strongly about the momentum that we'll have going into next year. The one big beautiful bill kicks in. We'll have a more accommodative Federal Reserve. I think economic activity is going to build. Companies will be encouraged to build here because they'll be able to write a lot of that off. I think we're on the precipice of an economic boom and with lower mortgage rates that will help the housing market a lot. So I would rather see President Trump do some other things with that tariff money.
Right. But one thing that we also could see into the new year is the effect of some of the pullback on the regulations that were strangling a lot of businesses. And I don't think people realize that, especially possibly maybe in the housing market.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of it is local, but there's a lot of pressure, particularly to hey, bring down this red tape. Let's bring it down. The problem is the starter home, right? Even right now, I think the average age for these home buyers is just 40 years old. The same people that were buying houses 20 years ago are now buying houses now. it's really unfortunate that before, the first-time home buyer, the average age was like 28 years old not long ago. So you had a young couple, you got married, you had children, you bought a house, the American dream. And that's obviously one of the big issues in this country right now.
Thank you, Charles. Nice to see you, sir. Come on back.
Absolutely.
We'll define affordability.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 o'clock Fox Business.
Give me a few times, and we got to go to the board on this one.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
You got it. Thank you, Charles.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.